On July 2nd, 1937, the skies over the Pacific Ocean swallowed a legend. Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, a global icon of courage and freedom, took off in her twin-engine Lockheed Electra, attempting to become the first woman to fly around the world. She was fearless, determined, unstoppable, but somewhere between New Guinea and Howland Island, Amelia's voice crackled through the radio waves for the last time. Her words were calm but desperate. "We are on the line. We are running north and south." Then silence. No wreckage was ever found. No body, no definitive trace of the plane. Amelia Earhart, America's darling of the skies, had vanished. Her disappearance ignited one of the largest search efforts in U.S. history. Battleships, aircraft, and countless rescue teams scoured thousands of square miles of ocean. Yet the Pacific gave nothing back. Amelia and her navigator, Fred Noonan, had simply disappeared into the horizon. But the mystery didn't end with her. It only grew. For decades, theories multiplied like shadows. Did she crash into the sea, her plane sinking into the depths? Did she land on a remote island, surviving as a castaway until death claimed her? Or was she captured by the Japanese, becoming a prisoner in the tense years before World War II? Some even whisper she lived under a new identity, her legend buried beneath secrecy. What makes Amelia's story so haunting is not just her death, it's her life. She wasn't just a pilot. She was a symbol of daring independence in a world that told women to stay grounded. She shattered barriers, pushed limits, and embodied the restless spirit of adventure. That's why her disappearance wasn't just a tragedy. It was a betrayal of the future she represented. Tonight, we step back into that sky, into that storm, and into the endless mystery of Amelia Earhart. We'll follow her journey from fearless aviator to lost soul of the Pacific, explore the theories that refuse to die, and uncover why this story still grips America nearly a century later. Because in the end, Amelia Earhart is more than a missing pilot. She is America's ghost in the sky, a reminder that even legends can vanish, leaving behind only questions. Welcome to the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, America's lost pilot. Before she became a mystery, Amelia Earhart was a pioneer, born in 1897 in Atchison, Kansas. Amelia grew up in a world that expected women to remain on the ground, but she was already looking to the skies. From a young age, she was restless, independent, and unwilling to accept limits. Her first encounter with flight came at an air show in 1920, the moment a plane soared above her head. Amelia knew her destiny wasn't on the ground. Within days, she took her first flying lesson. Within months, she bought her own plane, a bright yellow biplane she called the Canary. Amelia wasn't just a pilot, she was a trailblazer. In 1928, she became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic as a passenger. But that wasn't enough. 4 years later, she did it solo, becoming the first woman and only the second person in history to fly across the Atlantic Ocean alone. Overnight, she became a global sensation. Her short, windswept haircut, leather jacket, and quiet confidence made her a symbol of modern womanhood. She wasn't just breaking aviation records, she was breaking gender barriers. America adored her. The world respected her, and Amelia wanted more. By the mid-1930s, she set her sights on her greatest challenge yet, a flight around the world. Not just for glory, but to prove that aviation and women could conquer anything. But destiny, it seemed, had a different plan. On June 1st, 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, set out from Miami on their round-the-world flight. In a twin-engine Lockheed Electra 10E, their route would take them eastward, crossing the Atlantic, Africa, India, Southeast Asia, and then the vast Pacific Ocean. The journey was grueling. They faced storms, mechanical issues, and exhaustion. But by late June, Amelia had completed over 22,000 miles of her planned 29,000-mile journey. Only the Pacific remained the hardest stretch of all. On July 2nd, Amelia and Fred took off from New Guinea, heading toward Howland Island, a tiny speck in the Pacific barely 2 miles long. It was one of the most difficult navigational targets in the world, and one of the most crucial. Without reaching it, they had no fuel to continue. Throughout the flight, Amelia's radio messages crackled with static. She reported changing weather, drifting off course, and struggling with communication. Coast Guard operators aboard the ship, Tasca, stationed near Howland to guide her in, tried desperately to reach her. At 7:42 a.m., Amelia's voice came through the static. "We must be on you, but cannot see you. Gas is running low." Minutes later, her final transmission. "We are on the line 157 to 337. We are running north and south." Then silence. The Electra never arrived. Earhart and Noonan had vanished into the endless blue. The disappearance of Amelia Earhart shocked the world. President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered an unprecedented search. Navy battleships, Coast Guard cutters, and aircraft scoured 250,000 square miles of ocean. For 2 weeks, they searched for wreckage, oil slicks, or any sign of survivors, but the Pacific revealed nothing. Some believed Amelia had simply run out of fuel and crashed into the sea near Howland. But if so, why hadn't wreckage been found? Could a plane really vanish without a trace? The search officially ended on July 19, 1937, though her husband George Putnam funded private efforts afterward. Still, no answers came. Amelia Earhart, the most famous woman in the world, had disappeared as if swallowed by the sky itself, and that's when the theories began. The most widely accepted explanation is also the simplest. Amelia ran out of fuel, missed Howland Island, and crashed into the Pacific. The Electra, heavy with fuel and equipment, would have broken apart on impact and sunk rapidly. For decades, this was the official story. But there was a problem. The ocean floor near Howland is deep, dark, and difficult to search, even modern sonar scans have failed to find any trace of her plane. Supporters of this theory point to Amelia's final radio messages, which suggest she was lost and running out of gas. But critics argue the total absence of evidence is suspicious. In aviation, disasters, debris almost always surfaces, so why not this time? Perhaps the ocean holds its secrets well. Or perhaps Amelia's fate took a different turn in the 1940s. Bones were discovered on Nicomaroro, an uninhabited island about 350 miles from Howland. Alongside the remains were pieces of a woman's shoe, a man's shoe, and a sextant box, the kind used for navigation. Could Amelia and Fred have landed there, surviving for a time as castaways? Locals later reported finding aircraft debris. Even in recent years, search teams have uncovered artifacts that could be linked to Earhart, including fragments of metal consistent with a Lockheed Electra. Some researchers believe Amelia lived for days, maybe weeks, on Nicomaroro before succumbing to starvation or thirst. If true, America's hero didn't vanish in an instant. She faded slowly, abandoned by the world that adored her. But the evidence is debated. Were the bones truly hers, or were they someone else's? The mystery deepened, refusing to give a definitive answer. Another theory is far darker, that Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan were captured by the Japanese. According to this theory, their Electra landed in the Marshall Islands, controlled by Japan at the time. Locals reported seeing a plane crash and to foreigners taken into custody. Some even claimed Amelia lived out her days as a prisoner, her fate hidden by governments during the tense prelude to World War II. Others whisper even stranger theories. Some claim Amelia returned to the United states under a false identity, living quietly to escape the fame that once defined her. Others insist the government covered up her true fate to hide military secrets. While most historians dismiss these ideas as unlikely, the absence of proof has kept them alive. Because when the world cannot accept silence, it fills the void with shadows. Amelia Earhart's disappearance is more than a story about a lost pilot. It's a story about ambition, courage, and the terrifying silence of the unknown. She was a woman who refused to be grounded in a world that tried to chain her down. She flew higher, farther, and braver than anyone expected. And yet, in the skies she loved most, she vanished, leaving behind no wreckage, no grave, and no certainty. What makes this mystery endure is not just the unanswered questions, but what Amelia represented. She wasn't only flying for herself, she was flying for possibility, for the idea that women could break boundaries, that humans could conquer impossible distances. Her disappearance wasn't just the loss of a person, it was the loss of a dream. Theories abound: a crash into the sea, a lonely death on a deserted island captured by enemy forces, or a life lived in secrecy under another name. Each theory reflects not just a guess at what happened, but our need to explain the unexplainable, because the human mind craves answers, and Amelia Earhart's story offers none. But maybe that's why her legend remains so powerful. Some mysteries end when the facts come to light. This one grows larger with every passing year. Each new clue, a fragment of metal, a story told by an islander, a handful of bones, only deepens the question. And the Pacific, vast and merciless, holds its secrets close. Perhaps Amelia's Electra lies deep beneath the waves, buried in silence. Perhaps her footsteps are still faintly imprinted on an island beach. Or perhaps the truth is something no one has yet dared to imagine. And that's the haunting beauty of her story. Amelia Earhart isn't just lost, she is eternal. A ghost in the skies, a reminder that courage often comes with risk, and that some dreams are so big they live on long after the dreamer is gone. So I'll leave you with this question. Do you believe Amelia Earhart died in the Pacific, her body claimed by the sea? Or do you believe she survived in secret, in captivity, or even in a life we may never uncover? Tell me your theory in the comments below. Which ending to her story do you believe? And if you want more journeys into the dark corners of American history, into legends that refuse to die, and mysteries that still whisper from the past, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell, because there are more stories waiting, more vanishings, more curses, more secrets America has never solved. This has been the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, America's lost pilot. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and never forget, sometimes the sky doesn't just lift us higher. Sometimes it swallows us whole.